sorry, Alice. And this is the stuff about the sewer work that they're going to be doing.
You're going to do pledge of allegiance now? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay guys, Michelle's not here today, so I have to speak. I have some flyers here. This is on the sewer work that's going to start next year, if you guys didn't get it yet. That's for the surrounding areas around Burr Avenue. This is going to last about 2 years.
Each street.
Each street, yeah. I have some flyers here for the Woodbury LaSalle tree lighting, if you guys are interested and know any little kids who might want to come.
I'll put one up on our wall.
Yeah. And we're going to have a little raffle, turkeys from Key Food, and what else?
And the 50-50.
Oh, and the 50/50. And what else?
This is not an association thing, but I just want to throw this out. When do you get the flyers, the flyer packets every year?
That's not a
The
50-50.
key food ad and my building, it's hit or miss. We haven't gotten any for 2 weeks. Carmen and I are constantly calling them and letting them know. You got yours today? I called them last Friday to say we haven't gotten it for 2 weeks. Carmen called them this Monday. I don't know what's going on with them. I have the number with me.
It's the kids that are delivering to them.
No, it's a building, so the clerk comes and,
Puts them in the hallway.
Yeah, in the vestibule,
Yeah,
yeah.
the vestibule.
they don't make a lot of beer. Yeah.
So I have the phone number if anybody else wants them to call up and complain.
Okay. We have a special guest speaker tonight from the fire department. Let's talk about fire safety.
Right?
Yes.
Well, the flyers, right?
Yeah, a lot of fires going on. We had one along today, actually,
Where?
in the Bronx. Hull Avenue? Yep. It was burning pretty good today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of those row houses, which is how we lost one of our pieces last year. Yes, everybody's using the candles, so let me go over just a few quick things on what we can do just to stay safe, right? So, one of the main things we're seeing, honestly, we're not seeing as many fires with the candles as we used to, thanks to the flameless candles, right? Everybody uses these, they're battery operated, right? They have sense to them, they have remotes to them, they look real, it's all these crazy things they have to these now. So, these are definitely the way to go if you're going to use the candles. We do recommend that you use the flameless candles if you can, right? If you do use a real candle, not a problem, just practice a few precautions, simple, basic things. You want to put it somewhere where it's not going to get tipped over by a pet, or a child, or anything else. You don't want it near a window where you can open the window and the curtains are going to blow in. Basic things. If you're going to leave the room, you're supposed to blow out the candle, right? So not if you're going to leave the house, I am saying if you leave the room. So if you have a candle burning in your kitchen and you're going to go into the living room, you're supposed to blow out the candle, right? If you're not physically watching the candle in the same room, then you really shouldn't have the candle burning. You should blow it out.
I said about the condition of the water, tell me when you use
Right, so, it's just a few basic common things. Like, I know for the Jewish holiday, it's a typical thing where they just leave the candle burning over, all night long and they go to sleep. Really not the best practice. Again, it is a religious thing, so we are trying to work something out where they maybe shorten the candles if they can or something, but we do have a little bit of an issue with that. Other than that, if you're going to use the candles, just practice some safe precautions. What we are seeing a lot of right now, we're seeing electrical fires, a lot of fires starting from electrical items, and a lot of fires starting from cooking. Okay? So it is the holiday season. We'll get into a few quick things about cooking. I bring a few props with me so everybody can see them. Get excited, I'm not cooking for anybody. So, I got promoted so I don't have to cook. That's how that works. So one of the main things we're seeing is unattended cooking, right? People are starting to cook and then they're walking away, all right? They're going to watch TV, they're going to take a phone call, answer the door, whatever it may be. I get it, we're trying to do 10 things at the same time now, and that's what's happening. So unattended cooking, obviously, what we recommend is you stand by your pan, is what we say, all right? If you're going to cook, you really should just cook, okay? If you're going to go answer the door or take the phone call or watch TV, then stop cooking and go do that, all right? If you do see yourself walking away from the stove for some reason, whatever it may be, the doorbell, really quick, and you really, you can't shut off the stove, I get it, all right? What I do recommend is if you take your oven mitt, you put your oven mitt on, go answer the door. Whatever you're going to do, if you walk away from the stove, put the oven mitt on. At least a minute, 2 minutes goes by, that oven mitt's going to remind you that you are cooking. If you, start talking to somebody, they're going to look at you and say, why are you wearing your oven mitt? It's because I'm cooking, that's why, all right? So it's just something to jog your memory if you feel the need to walk away. A couple of basic things you want to have when you are cooking. You always want to have that oven mitt. You want to have a cover to the pan. You want to have a baking soda and/or a fire extinguisher, but I'll get into this later. So we all know what we can't use to put out a grease fire, right? No water. No water on a grease fire, okay? Anybody making turkeys? If you're going to deep fry your turkey, make sure it's not frozen. What's going to happen to a frozen turkey that's deep fried? It's going to blow up, okay? So don't do it. Alright, so we can't use water, so what can we use? We could use the baking soda, we could use the cover to the pan, we could use the fire extinguisher. Alright, the main ingredients in your baking soda is the same main ingredient in your ABC extinguisher, sodium bicarbonate. Okay? This is a lot cheaper, a lot easier to access, most people already have it in their home. So you have a small grease fire, alright, it's not that bad. You can easily take the cover, put the cover on top. Alright? Not a problem. You have the baking soda around, you want to take the baking soda, cover the entire pan with the baking soda to smother that fire, and then you take the lid and you put the lid on top, okay? Anything you're doing with the oven mitt on, okay? When you pour the baking soda on top, this is not the time to take out the measuring cup, pour the baking soda, all right? Don't be cheap, pour that baking soda all over the pan, put that fire out, cover it, turn the heat off, all right? The fire starts to get a little bit out of the pan, it's starting to get a little crazy. Now you get into a little sticky situation here. They say you have about 30 to 45 seconds tops to put out a fire before it gets out of your control. Okay? Not a lot of time. So the fire starts coming up here, right? What you want to do is now, you're not going to reach over. Now the fire's coming out. You don't want to reach over the pan. You're not going to take the baking soda at this point. What you want to do is take that cover and get down low to the pan. Right? You don't want to be on top of the fire. You want to be even or underneath the fire. Take that cover, put it in front of your face, and drop it on top like that. Right? You're using the cover as a shield to protect your face. You have the oven mitt on to protect your hand, and you'll be good. You put the cover on top. You shut the heat to the stove. If you can, you want to move this off of the burner because that burner is still going to be heating up that oil inside. All right? So try and get it off the burner if you can. All right? What you don't want to do after about 2 minutes is what? To see if that fire's out. Right? Not going to be a good thing. Okay? Leave the pan in there for a good 5 minutes. You'll start to see that white smoke coming out. It's telling you that it is out. Right? Don't let it go. Also, when you're cooking, the position of the handles. Okay? Like I said, we're on the phone. We're doing 10 different things. If that handle's facing out, we're not paying attention. You're going to knock into it. You're going to burn yourself. You're going to burn somebody else. All right? So keep those handles facing in whenever you can. Okay? The other thing I was talking about is the fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher, there's a lot of maintenance and training that goes into using a fire extinguisher, right? So it's not just a matter of going out to the store and buying a fire extinguisher. So if you are going to buy one for this purpose, you want to get an ABC extinguisher, right? And if you look on it, it'll say ABC on it. If you don't see the letters ABC, you can look at the pictures in blue, okay? These pictures represent the letters of the fires, right? So a type A fire is this first picture. It's ordinary combustibles, which is your typical garbage, stuff like that. A type B fire is your flammable liquids, so your gasolines, your oils, anything like that. And the type C is anything electric, energized. Okay? So an ABC extinguisher will put out all 3 types of fires. If you see an X from any of the pictures, It's not an ABC extinguisher, don't get it, okay? ABC extinguisher, also look for that little UL circle. Looks like this, okay? Look for that. That's a company, and what they do is they inspect, typically they inspect electrical items, but they do inspect extinguishers and smoke alarms, and they'll put their stamp on it if they say it's safe to use. If they do not deem it safe to use, they're not going to put their stamp on it, and you will not see their stamp. If I don't see that stamp, I won't buy it, personally, okay? A couple of things that you need to know with the extinguisher. You need to check it once a month. The gauge up here, that arrow has to be in the green, otherwise you will not have enough pressure when it comes time to use it. Right? So the gauge has to be in the green. Once a month you want to take it, you want to shake it, just hit the bottom of it, just to make sure that the material inside stays nice and loose. Right? Remember, it's the same thing that's in your baking soda. You put your baking soda in the fridge and what happens? It clumps together. Okay? So you want to make sure that doesn't happen to this. Alright? Same thing with that. If you're going to use that for a fire purpose, you want to make sure that it's not sitting in the fridge. Alright? With this, you want to be a good 8 to 10 feet away from the fire. Right? That's the beauty of the extinguishers, that you can keep your distance from the fire and still be able to put it out. Whereas with this, you have to be right up and close and personal to try and put this thing out. Okay? 8 to 10 feet away. You always want to keep yourself in between the fire and your exit. So if that's my way out, and I'm going to put the fire out, I want to be standing here. Because if I don't put the fire out, I can turn around and I can get out safe. If I'm on the other side of this, and I don't put the fire out, I'm in a bad spot. Because I'm going to have to get around the fire to try and get out. And that's not a good space to be. Okay? So always keep yourself in between the fire and your exit. Now, this is the typical size of the extinguisher that people have in their home. If I put my finger on the trigger to squeeze, how long do you think I have before I'm out of extinguishing agent in here? Anyone? 2 to 3 minutes? Anyone else? 15 seconds. 8 to 12 seconds. Okay? That is not a lot of time. So you need to know what you're doing. Okay? 8 to 12 seconds, not a lot of time. So, the acronym we use is PASS. P-A-S-S. You have to pull the pin. The first thing you do, there's a pin that goes through the trigger here. The pin prevents you from squeezing the trigger by mistake. If you never pull the pin out, you'll never be able to squeeze the trigger. Okay? So P, you have to pull the pin. The A stands for aiming at the base of the fire. The base of the fire is in the pan. Okay? I'll tell you why we do that in a second. The first S is squeeze the trigger, and the second S is sweep side to side. So you don't want to be standing there just like this, right? You want to be 8 to 10 feet away, squeezing and sweeping side to side, so you cover the entire area with this chemical. Okay? The reason why we're aiming at the base of the fire, okay? We said we have 8 to 12 seconds. What happens is the fire starts to come out here. A lot of people have cabinets and whatnot over their stoves or microwave. What happens? They start to get nervous. And where do they want to put the fire out? Up here. Right? So you're putting the fire out up here. You're doing good. You get down here, and what happens? It's empty. And now that fire's going right back to where it was. Okay? So you have to put the fire out where it's coming from first. If you have anything left, that's when you'll start to hit it up here. But again, you're getting into a very touchy thing there where you're not calling 911. You're running out of this agent and the fire's starting to spread. It's a bad spot. Okay? What I recommend is that you call 911 first, and then you start to use this extinguisher to try and put this fire out. The worst thing that's going to happen is that we will get there and you will say, listen, I had a little fire in my stove in my kitchen, but I was able to put it out, no problem. We will ask to take a look. Okay? Despite popular belief, we do not break everything everywhere we go. Okay? 95% of the time, we break everything everywhere we go. Alright? But there's a good 5% where we won't. Now, in this situation, most people's stoves are against the wall. What we will do, what I will do as an officer, I have a camera, a special camera that will detect heat. Alright? And I will put the camera up against your wall to see if there's any heat behind your wall. What may happen is some of those embers or some of those flames may have gotten into your socket, to your outlet, right, and gotten behind the walls. You may have fire burning behind the walls and not even know it for a few hours. So we will come in and we will check to see if there's any heat. If I don't see any heat in the camera from behind the wall, we'll look away, no problem. We'll leave you alone. If I see heat from the camera coming from behind your wall, we're renovating your kitchen, okay? We're going to start putting holes in the wall to see what's going on back there, okay? So again, it's better that we find out that there's something back there while we're there than for you to find out 3 hours later while you're sleeping that there's fire in the wall, okay? So suggest that you call 911 right away. All right? The other thing we talk about is the electrical items, right? So now, with the holidays coming, everybody's plugging everything into everywhere, and we're all using these, okay? Not a problem. You just have to know how to use them, all right? So there's a difference. This is a power strip, and then there is something that's called a surge protector, which looks exactly the same thing, except it has a surge protector inside of it, okay? So we recommend that if you do buy one of these, and you buy one that says that it is surge protected, it will protect you from a surge that comes through the line if you lose power, or Con Ed turns the power back on, or whatever. It protects everything that's plugged in, okay? Most, if not all of these now, are made with a built-in circuit breaker, so if you overload it, it's going to pop the fuse and it's going to shut off, okay? That's not a sign for you to go over to it and reset it and turn it back on and don't change anything, right? You have to pull something out. Something is drawing too much power. You have to pull something out. So what we see is a lot of times people buy these, and I've seen these with 6 plugs, 8 plugs, 10 plugs, and more, okay? So what does everybody think? Because it has 6 plugs, I'm going to plug in how many things? I'm plugging 6 things in. It's inevitable, okay? Understand that just because you're using this, you're not getting more power, okay? You plug this into your outlet that has 2 plugs to it. You're still getting the same amount of power as if you only use the 2 plugs. The only thing you're doing is giving yourself more access to the outlet, all right? But you're not getting more power, all right? Just understand that. So the main rule of thumb here is anything that heats or cools should be plugged directly into the wall, okay? Space heaters, air conditioner, microwave, toaster oven, refrigerator. Anything that heats or cools has to get plugged directly into the wall. If I plug the space heater into this, I'm already using more power than this is rated to give me, and that's with one item, okay? Anything that heats or cools draws a tremendous amount of power, and it needs its own line, okay? Also, the 3-prong. A lot of people don't have the 3-prong, especially in the older buildings. Not a lot of these are around, okay? So what were people doing? They were taking the piece and they were snapping it off and plugging it in, okay? Obviously not something you want to do. Go to the store, buy the adapter that will allow you to plug this into a 2-prong outlet. Not a problem, okay? Definitely don't start breaking pieces of it. With the extension cords are for temporary use only. All right, so what's happening? Again, back to those old buildings that don't have a lot of outlets in them. People are resorting to extension cords, and they're running these cords across their room, over, up the ceilings, they're out to the other end of the room, under the carpets, okay? Temporary use only. If you're going to use a power tool or something like that, you pull out your extension cord and you use it for an hour or 2 and then you put it away. People are plugging extension cords into the refrigerator that they don't unplug forever, all right? What's going to happen eventually, these cords get hot. They start to heat up. They're not made to handle that kind of power for that amount of time, all right? So you have this running under your carpet to hide it because nobody wants to see it. Eventually it's going to heat up. It's sitting under your carpet. No brainer where that's going to go, okay? So temporary use only for the extension cords. And again, you're going to get what you pay for. So what I was saying before about that little UL, right? This power extension cord has a UL label on it. I bought it at Home Depot, right? It was about $6, $7. I bought this at the 99-cent store. This does not have the UL label on it. I bought this for 99 cents, okay? Believe it or not, these are both 16-gauge wires. Both. Exact same amount of wire inside of them, okay? However, this has a lot more insulation to it. It will resist burning a lot longer than something like this. It's going to burn and melt pretty quickly, okay? So again, look for that UL label. You're going to get what you pay for, okay? A couple other things I want to talk about real quick, right? We have to have a plan of escape on how we're going to get out of our house if it's on fire. And the last time that you want to try and figure that out is when it's on fire, all right? You need to figure that out ahead of time. 2 ways out of your home at all times, and know the building that you live in, whether it's a fireproof building or a non-fireproof building, okay? Is there anybody here that lives in a fireproof building? Do we know? Fireproof? Non-fireproof? Non-fireproof.
No, fireproof.
No fireproof.
Yeah,
Okay. So, any building typically that is 7 stories or higher, 75 feet or more in height, is a fireproof building. Okay, that's typical. It's not set in stone. Okay, if you don't see fire escapes on your building, probably a probably a fireproof building, all right? All these buildings with the fire escapes, 6 stories or lower, those are typically non-fireproof buildings, okay? So, if you live in a fireproof building, all right, the building is made to contain the fire within the apartment. So, the beauty of that is, if the fire is not in their apartment, in a fireproof building, they're safer to stay in their apartment. Okay, they're safe in their apartment. If the fire is in their apartment, obviously they have to leave. Okay? But if it's not in their apartment, they can stay where they are. In a non-fireproof building, no matter where the fire is, in your apartment or in someone else's, you need to get out. Okay? The key here is if you have a fire in your apartment, whether it's a fireproof or a non-fireproof, you must close the door behind you. You have to isolate that fire and contain it in your apartment. Okay? That huge fire we had around this time, a little later last year in the Bronx, where 13 people died because the person left their door open in their apartment. They contaminated the entire building and 13 people died because of it. Okay? So you must close the door when you leave. Just understand, non-fireproof, you have to leave no matter what. Fireproof, they're only leaving if their apartment is on fire. Okay? 2 ways out of your home at all times for you non-fireproof, which is why typically you'll have that fire escape. All right? Private house, you'll have the front door, or the rear door, or side door. And these buildings, 6-story buildings, you'll have the fire escapes. Okay? So you always have 2 ways out at all times. Good. Have a meeting place outside of your house or apartment that anyone in your apartment, once you get out of that house or apartment in the fire, you all meet at the same place. Okay? So what happens a lot of times, one person goes out the fire escape, one person goes out the front door, and the person at the fire escape stays by the fire escape, the person at the front door stays there. And neither one of these people know that the other one got out of the house safe. When we get there, they're screaming at us that somebody's stuck in the apartment, and that person's down the fire escape. Okay? So what you want to do is formulate a common place outside of your building, whether it's a mailbox or a tree or whatever, and say, if we ever get out of our house on fire, this is where we are going to meet. Okay? Typically, we do highly recommend this for anybody with children. You want to meet at that same spot so that you know that everybody's out safe. Okay? If somebody is not out safe that you know is in your home with you, what do we do? Big question. Your apartment's on fire, you run out. They run out, you don't know what they did, who knows? They're not there at the meeting place. Now what? We're going back in, are we not going back in? Are we just standing there waiting? Right? We should wait for the fire department, okay? Best thing you can do, wait for us. The second we get there, you tell us, listen, somebody's in that apartment. It was the second door on the right when you go in the house. That's where they were. That's their room, that's where they are. Let us know where they are. The worst thing you can do is go in. A fire doubles in size every 30 to 60 seconds, okay? Not a lot of time. By the time you have a fire, you realize you can get outside, they're not there, you go back in to look for them. You're talking 4 or 5 minutes has passed. That fire is not what it was when you left, okay? And believe me when I tell you, it's not what you see on TV, all right? What was I watching the other day? I was watching Chuck and Larry. I don't know if anybody saw Chuck and Larry, right? Hilarious, right? But I was watching this the other day, and they're walking into this fire, and you know, they're talking to each other, they can see each other, they don't have their mask on, it's great, right? Not how it is. In all honesty, we're on the floor, kissing the floor, we have our oxygen on, we can't see our hand in front of us, we don't know where we're going. That's the truth of being in a fire. Okay, you can't breathe, it's hot. Okay? So you definitely don't want to try and go back into this home, you know, if it is on fire. Okay? The last thing that I want to emphasize most, and if you walk away with nothing else today, is the importance of having working smoke alarms. Okay? Working smoke alarms. They're saying 70 to 80% of the people that are dying in a fire today do not have working smoke alarms in their homes. That is a lot of people that don't have a working alarm. Okay? So, the new alarms that they came out with now, all right, are 10-year sealed alarms. You cannot open the back anymore. You don't take the batteries out, you don't change the batteries. Once you turn these alarms on, they're good for up to 10 years. Okay? Any smoke alarm being sold today has to be a 10-year sealed unit. So what was happening was the fire marshals were going into these fatal fires afterwards, and they were finding that the smoke alarm had no battery in it. They were finding that the battery in the smoke alarm was dead. Okay? Which goes back to, and I get it, back to the days with my mother, right? My mother was cooking, the smoke alarm would go off, and what would she do? She took the towel, right? She would wave at the smoke alarm. Right? Never worked. She took her little step stool, she went up, she took the smoke alarm down, took the battery out, put it to the side, and she kept cooking. Okay? A lot of people were not putting the batteries back in and putting them back up. Okay? So they came up with this. You can't take the battery out anymore. Alright? If it goes off because you're cooking, no problem. Press the button in the middle. That is a silence button, and it will silence the alarm. It will silence the alarm for a few minutes, but understand that if there's still smoke in your room, in a few minutes, it's going to go off again. You're going to have to silence it again. Okay? Also, the one that I have here is a combination smoke and carbon monoxide, which we do recommend. It's recommended that you have a combination smoke and carbon monoxide on every level of your home, plus one smoke only in every bedroom. That's what's recommended. So, combination. Because it's a combination, it's going to make two different noises, right? It's going to make one for smoke or fire, and it's going to make one for carbon monoxide. Alright? Does anybody know the difference in the noises? The noises are universal. Right? She's good. Right? 3 long beeps for smoke and 4 quick chirps for carbon monoxide. Okay? Now, if this is going off for carbon monoxide, what are you going to see? Nothing. What are you going to smell? Nothing. Taste? Nothing. You'll hear nothing. You know nothing other than the fact that this is going off. Alright? When this is going off for carbon monoxide, and you look around and you don't see anything, don't curse me out and say that stupid fireman didn't know what he was talking about. No. This thing is telling you something's going wrong. Okay? Open the windows, get some fresh air, get outside, call 911. We have special meters that will detect where it's coming from, and we'll be able to shut it off at the source. Typically, you're going to see it in anything that has fossil fuel as a burning source, right? So, oil burners, anything with gas or oil that's heat, that's where you're going to get it. Okay? Defective oil burners is a huge thing where you'll see the carbon monoxide. So you want to make sure that you have one on every level of your home. And again, you're not going to know anything if this is going off with carbon monoxide. So some of the signs and symptoms, all right, you're going to start to feel flu-like symptoms. You're going to feel sick. You're going to feel nauseous. You're going to want to throw up. You're going to want to go to sleep. Okay? By all means, if you go home tonight and you feel sick, don't run out of your house screaming that you have carbon monoxide. You might have the cold, whatever. All right? Don't freak out. Okay? But one of the signs is, let's just say for Thanksgiving, you have about 10 people over your home, and all 10 people are feeling this at the same time. Something's wrong. Okay? Either you're a really bad cook, or everybody's got carbon monoxide poisoning. Okay? So make sure you have the alarms and they are working. Once a month, you press the button in the middle to test it. And this is where you will hear the difference in the noises. Okay? Those are the 3 long beeps. That's smoke or fire. This is carbon monoxide. 4 quick beeps. That's all you have to do once a month. It'll chirp at the end to let you know that it's on. And that's all you should be doing with this once a month. Okay? If you still have the old ones where you change the battery, not a problem. Make sure you're changing the battery when you change your clock. Okay? Typically, those alarms are good for up to 10 years. Alright? So if you still have one, not a problem, change the battery. If it's over 10 years old, I would think about replacing it and going to one of these. Now, I'm going to give you a little thing here. The FDNY, or the foundation, who we work for, which funds our unit, buys these alarms through KIDA. We have a good deal with KIDA. They buy the alarms from KIDA. We give them to the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross has a program with us called Sound the Alarm. We go to people's homes and they install these alarms for free. Okay? It is free. The alarms are free. The installation is free. The whole program is free. You can go online and register at Sound the Alarm, or you can call 1-877-RED Cross. They will make an appointment with you. They will come to your home and they will install these for free. It is going to be Red Cross volunteers, okay? Because we are not allowed inside people's homes. Alright? So it will be Red Cross volunteers that will come to your home and they will install these for free. Alright? program to take advantage of if you do need the alarms. Just definitely make sure that you do have them no matter what. Okay? That is my speech.
Thank you.
All right, anybody have any questions, problems, concerns?
I think, was it your brother who told you that if one of these things empties, you can bring it to the fire department and they will refill it for you?
That is the worst advice I've ever heard. No, absolutely not. No, so what's going to happen? If you use this, there's one or two things going to happen. Either you're going to use all of it and it's going to be empty, or you're not going to use all of it. If you don't use all of it, get rid of it. Okay? So how do we get rid of it? I haven't been told that you're supposed to be able to bring it back to, let's just say, Home Depot when you're buying a new one and give it to them and they recycle it. I have not tried it yet, so I don't know if that's true. What I recommend is that you do it yourself. So let's just say it's not empty. You take it outside, you flip it upside down. Do this outside. You flip it upside down, you squeeze the trigger. All right, that's going to release all the pressure that's inside of this. All right, without expelling any of the material, really. Right? Press it until it's empty. Once it's empty, you flip it back over. Now you can dismantle it. Now you can just twist the top off, throw the stuff that's inside in the garbage, and then just throw this in the recycle. Okay? So you can dispose of it on your own, it's not a problem. Alright? Typically they're good for about 8 to 10 years. After that, you should be getting them. Alright? But definitely the fire department will not refill, and something of this size isn't even worth refilling. Alright? It's going to cost you probably more to refill than it is to buy a new one. Right. Typically, like a school like this, they have a contract where the company comes here and they test them and refill them and take them back and change them, stuff like that. For something like this, it's not worth it. All right, any other questions?
Very informative.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good.
All good. Thank you very much. Everybody has happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. I got a nice little flashlight for everybody. You go.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice little keychain flashlight. Right, on that website that's on there, you can go on there and it has all the literature on all the things that we talked about today. You're welcome.
A few years ago, I think the fire, a few years ago, there was a program that a fireman did come, she made an appointment to the homes of senior citizens, and they installed
Yep.
10-year.
Yep. I believe that was Get Alarmed.
Yes.
NYC is what that was called. That got a little tricky with the fire department going to people's homes. What happened was, what they said was that anytime we go into somebody's home in an official capacity, we're supposed to report anything that we see that's not proper, right?
But you were retired fireman,
Yes, retired is fine.
and I called in for 3 of us in the same building, they were so happy that they could move.
Yeah, I am allowed in one shot, absolutely.
Exactly.
Retired, we were allowed.
And he moved around in my apartment, I'm sure he did the same thing in yours. And when the fire
They
escape
use
was,
an extension that's thinner than what you're plugging in.
Right.
and, you know, so the fire escape wasn't, so.
Right, which is good. The retired guys can do that. Again,
If you can get people to set themselves up first, because as you get older, you have this twisting towards moving. I keep a hot top in my dishwasher,
right.
right under the sink with my tub, right in front of the cat. And 5 feet away from my fire extinguisher.
Which is good.
Because you don't have to be frying. I was cooking something and I forgot to hang it on the stove and it burned.
Right.
And all of a sudden, beep, beep.
But how many people are prepared like that, right? There's so many people that don't
Well,
don't even have an alarm in the mind.
The older you get, the less you're going to be quick.
Right. I hear you. I don't hear you, but I hear you.
This has really been a good refresher course.
All right, everybody be safe.
Yes, and
I'm
very,
sorry, everybody is probably on the way.
What are you going to do? Right? You can share that information with them and share that website and they can go online and read up on all the stuff. That's no problem. Yeah.
batteries to replace. So it's in the office, you can pick it up anytime.
Okay.
That was the main thing. Again, the New York City Council this year teamed up with NYPD, with FDNY, and they provided. So it's good every 6 months. They told us that each family should check their.
These are very good items.
Perfect. They keep taking it.
My friends, and they will come up.
The other one was the turkeys giveaway for 2 days at the office. Keep checking the website. He's putting everything out there. So
And these are
the party. Again, was Veterans Day. I don't know if anyone took advantage and went there. Like 300 people attended. What might be beneficial is the snow removal. So you have the advertisement for that, and again, it's on the website.
Yes, yes.
And there are some free housing assistance, which I don't think many will take advantage, but it's just there, as well as some immigration assistance. So that's pretty much it.
So there's a meet and greet on December 14th.
Go ahead, this
I'll
list.
put that up in our
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I was looking at this,
Since I moderated
Yes.
and this is happening all throughout Pelham.
This was from last time.
I was looking at this.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Because I had this last time.
All right. This is where they also come from training, stay on the project. You should have one of these blocks. The people who like blocks, it's like.
All right, so we got
This is their shooting. Okay, residential. They like for us to saddle, help out every neighborhood walking. You can't find walking.
Nobody really knows last time. No, that's what I'm saying. It's a good point.
You know, I know that neighborhood, turn around and they try to get residential walking.
Yeah, you know when I got that? That was during the summer when we went to the fair on the square. They were handing it to us. That's what I had.
You were thinking of red, and they wanted to throw away the bathroom.
You never know. But you know what I did? I cut out a.
During the meeting, this was discussed. I will also send you the text right now.
Very good, Andy.
But if you don't mind, it's better to
Yeah,
start the
December
text
6th.
so at least they can update you, or whoever is going to come here to give you an update.
I know. So, well, I guess the other thing is to open up the floor if anybody has anything to contribute.
Well, that's not on the six.
Oh, yeah, the last one, because again, if you go by Westchester Square, where our office is, but this is the last time.
Walking over Westchester Square, the meetings, it's not so much.
I usually go on the road, but yeah, you're right, you know.
Is there anything else from
This is the
anybody?
last one.
Anybody want to discuss anything?
Next thing I know, but also follow up so you can start the case.
Okay.
So this way you'll follow up also taking right now. So.
Yeah. The two buildings, the one on 2115 Burr and 2116 Pelham have been totally demolished now. So, but we don't know when the construction is going to begin.
I don't know that the permits have, the applications have been approved, because they still have to go through the Department of Building. I think there's folks watching for what the status of the application.
And I don't know, I have no idea on what's going on. You all can pronounce it.
Here, I don't know.
Tapology,
ready?
Can you turn it